What if I told you? A billionaire gave up everything to live on the streets, not as a stunt, not for fame, but to uncover a truth that would destroy his old life and rebuild him from nothing. He met a woman who had nothing, yet she changed everything. But the real shock? She was never who he thought she was. And the deeper he went, the more he realized his success was built on someone else's suffering. This is not just a story about money. It is about loss, betrayal, and a choice that could cost him everything or finally make him whole. Stay with me, because what he discovers next will change the way you see success forever. I was a billionaire before I understood the price of bread. Glass towers carried my name, but emptiness carried my soul. I built empires on sleepless nights and silent pain. Then betrayal came. Sharp, cold, familiar. My closest partner stole everything he could reach and left me with numbers that meant nothing. I walked away, not ruined, but hollow. So I disappeared. No suits, no drivers, no identity. Just the weight of the street beneath my feet and the sting of hunger in my chest. The nights were loud, sirens cutting through cold air, cardboard biting into my skin. I met her there. She had nothing, yet carried a quiet strength that unsettled me. Her name was Amina. She shared her food when I had none. She smiled when I forgot how. Dignity is not owned, she told me. It is chosen. Her words burned deeper than failure. Days turned into lessons. Hard, unforgiving, honest. I learned the smell of struggle, the taste of humility, the sound of invisible lives. One night, rain fell like judgment. I broke. I built everything, I told her, and lost what mattered. She looked at me, not with pity, but truth. Then build again. But this time, do not lose yourself. Something shifted. Not wealth, not power, purpose. I returned, not as the man I was, but as the man I needed to become. I rebuilt, with hands that remembered hunger, and a heart that understood loss. Years passed. Success returned, greater than before. But this time, I carried her lessons in every decision. I searched for her, through streets, through shelters, through memories. And then, one day, I found her name, not on the streets, but somewhere I never expected. And what I discovered next shook everything I believed about her. Her name was carved into a polished glass wall, not as a visitor, not as a stranger, but as a founder. Amina Rahman. My breath tightened, my past colliding with something I did not understand. The building stood tall, clean lines, warm light, a quiet dignity I recognized. Inside, people were not rushing. They were rebuilding lives, skills, hope. I walked through the doors, my reflection staring back at me. Tailored suit, steady eyes. Yet inside, I was still that man in the rain. A voice stopped me. Soft, familiar. You came back. I turned, and there she was. No worn coat, no tired hands. Strength remained, but now it carried authority. You knew, I said, my voice breaking under its own weight. She smiled gently. I needed you to know. The silence between us held years. You were never just homeless, I whispered. She stepped closer. Neither were you. Confusion burned through me. Why? Her eyes did not move. Because money had blinded you, and pain had hardened you, and only truth could reach you. I felt exposed, stripped of every illusion I once owned. I gave up everything to find meaning, I said. And you found it, she replied. But not alone. The room felt smaller, warmer, real. You changed me, I said. She shook her head slowly. You allowed yourself to change. Her words settled deep, like roots finally finding soil. I looked around. Every face carried a story. Every step held purpose. This is yours? It is ours, if you understand it, she said. Hope rose in my chest. Fragile. Dangerous. I want to help, I said. Not as a billionaire, but as a man who remembered hunger. Her expression softened. Then you must give more than money. The weight of her words pressed against me. Everything, I answered. She held my gaze, searching, measuring, and then she reached for a file on the table. Then you need to see this first. My name was written on the front, but not the one the world knew. The one I tried to forget. My hands hesitated, and as I opened it, the truth inside began to unfold. Inside the file was not success. It was my failure. Preserved, unforgiving. Photos, dates, accounts, moments I buried, now staring back at me. A factory I shut down, without warning. Families I never saw, standing outside locked gates. A child's drawing, found near the entrance. A house, with smoke stains on its walls. My chest tightened. I did not know, I whispered. Amina's voice was steady. You chose not to know. The truth struck harder than betrayal ever did. Every number I chased had a shadow. Every victory, someone else's loss. My hands trembled. As I turned another page, there I was, walking past them, eyes forward, unmoved. The man I used to be felt like a stranger, yet he was me. I cannot undo this, I said, pain rising, sharp, unrelenting. No, she replied, but you can answer for it. Silence wrapped around us, heavy, demanding. What do they need? My voice was no longer certain. Not charity, she said. Justice. The word echoed. Deep, unavoidable. I closed the file. But it did not close inside me. I will fix it, I said. She stepped closer. Do not fix it to feel better. Fix it because it is right. Her presence steadied me, like truth holding a broken mirror together. I nodded slowly. Tell me where to begin. She turned, walking toward a door at the end of the hall. Not here, she said. With them, the door opened. Voices spilled through. Familiar, raw, real. My past, waiting on the other side. I stepped forward, but something in my chest hesitated. Fear, guilt, something deeper. Amina looked back at me, not with comfort, but expectation. If you walk in, she said softly, you do not walk out the same man. My hand reached for the door, and just before I crossed that line, I heard a voice inside. Call my name. It was not anger. That would have been easier. It was recognition. A man stepped forward, older now, but I remembered his eyes. He used to stand at the factory gate every morning. Before I took that away. You remember me? He asked. My throat tightened. Yes. The word felt small. Against the weight of truth. Others turned. Faces I never truly saw before. Now looking directly into me. Not at my suit. Not at my wealth. At me. A child moved closer, holding that same drawing. Creased. Faded. But kept? You closed it, she said quietly. No blame. Just fact. The room held its breath. I did, I answered. No defense. No distance. Just truth. The man nodded slowly. My wife got sick after that, he said, voice steady, but worn by time. I sold everything, but it was not enough. Each word landed. Heavy. Final. Guilt rose. Thick. Unforgiving. I am sorry, I said, but even as I spoke, I knew it was not enough. It would never be enough. Amina stood behind me, silent, present. Sorry does not rebuild lives, she said gently. I closed my eyes for a moment, then opened them, not to escape, but to face what remained. Tell me what you lost, I said. The room shifted. Stories began, one by one. Jobs, homes, health, time, things money could replace, and things it never could. I listened, not as a billionaire, but as a man, finally hearing the cost of his silence. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time felt different inside truth. When the last voice faded, the room grew still again. They were waiting, not for words, for something more. I took a breath, deep, steady. I cannot give you back what was taken, I said, but I will stand here until I have given everything I can to rebuild what remains. Doubt flickered. Hope followed. Fragile, uncertain. The man stepped closer. You will stay? I met his gaze. No matter what it costs. The words felt different this time. Not ambition. Not pride. Promise. Amina's presence warmed the silence. But then, she spoke again. And if the cost is everything you built again? The question hung in the air. Sharp. Inevitable. I did not answer immediately, because for the first time, I understood what everything truly meant. Everything was not numbers. It was identity, power, control, the illusion of being untouchable. I felt it slipping already. Then it goes, I said, quiet, but certain. The room shifted again, not with doubt this time, with something heavier, belief. Amina watched me, carefully, as if measuring truth against intention. Words are easy, she said. I nodded. Then test me. She stepped forward, placing another document in my hands. This factory, she said. Reopen it. My eyes scanned the page. Debt. Legal battles. Decay. It was not a business. It was a graveyard. It will cost more than profit, I said. It will cost pride, she replied. I looked up, and for the first time, I smiled. Not with confidence, with acceptance. Good, I said. Days blurred into motion. Steel. Dust. Voices returning. I stood where I once walked past. But this time, I listened. Names replaced numbers. Faces replaced reports. The man returned. Not as a victim, but as a supervisor. The child brought a new drawing. This one had open gates. And light. Slowly, something impossible began to breathe again. Not success. Something deeper. Redemption. But not everyone believed. Investors called. Voices sharp. Warning. You are destroying your empire, they said. I heard them. I understood them. And still, I chose differently. One night, alone in my office, the city glowing beneath me, I saw the reports. Losses rising. Pressure building. The old fear returned. Quiet. Persistent. What if they were right? What if this cost everything? My hand hovered over the decision. The one that could stop it all. Restore everything I once was. A life of certainty, power, distance. Amina's voice echoed in my mind. Dignity is chosen. I closed my eyes and reached for the phone. But just before I spoke, a message appeared on the screen. Unknown number. One line. You still have not seen the full truth. My breath stilled, and something inside me knew this was only the beginning. The message stayed there, cold, unmoving. You still have not seen the full truth. My fingers hovered, uncertain. I had already lost sleep, peace, certainty. What more could remain? I opened it. A location. Nothing else. No name. No explanation. Just a place. Far from the city. Far from everything I rebuilt. I went alone. The road stretched empty. Dust rising behind me, like echoes of my past. The building stood broken. Quiet. Forgotten. Yet something about it felt deliberate. I stepped inside. The air smelled of rust. And time. Footsteps echoed. Then, a voice. You finally came. Not Amina. Not anyone I expected. A man stepped forward. Well-dressed. Calm. Familiar. My chest tightened. He was the one who betrayed me. The man who took everything. I thought you disappeared, I said. He smiled. I evolved. Anger flickered, but did not control me. Why am I here? He walked slowly, circling me, like he used to in boardrooms. Because you still believe your story is about loss, he said. It is not. I held his gaze. Then what is it about? He stopped, close enough that I could see the confidence that once ruled me. Control, he said. The word felt sharp. You lost control. Then you gave it away again. I shook my head. I chose purpose. He laughed softly. No. You chose weakness disguised as redemption. Silence cracked between us. His words reached for the old version of me, the one that feared losing power. You rebuilt their lives, he continued, but you are destroying your own. I felt the pull. Familiar. Dangerous. Come back, he said. Take it all again. Stronger. Smarter. Untouchable. For a moment, the vision returned. Towers. Control. Certainty. No guilt. No past. Just power. My breath slowed. I could feel the choice forming. Not outside, but inside me. Behind him. A door creaked open. Soft. Almost unnoticed. And in that moment, I realized this was never about him. Or betrayal. Or even success. It was about the man I would choose to be. When no one was guiding me. When no one was watching. I stepped forward. But not toward him. Toward the sound behind him. And just as I reached the door, his voice sharpened. If you walk through that, you lose everything forever. My hand touched the handle. And something in me answered. Not fear. Not doubt. But truth. The handle was cold. Steady. Real. Unlike the illusion behind me. I already lost everything once, I said. Quiet. Certain. And that is how I finally saw clearly. Silence followed. Not his kind. Sharp and persuasive. But mine. Grounded. Unshaken. I opened the door. Light spilled in. Soft. Honest. And there, standing in that light, was Amina. No surprise in her eyes. Only calm. As if she had always known which way I would walk. Behind me, his voice rose. You are walking away from power. I did not turn. No, I said. I am walking toward it. The air felt different. As I stepped through. Lighter. but heavier with meaning. Amina studied me. Not my clothes. Not my success. Me. You chose, she said. I nodded. For the first time. Without fear. A small smile touched her face. Then faded. You are not finished, she said. I know. She stepped aside, revealing what lay beyond. Not a street. Not a building. People. Dozens. Waiting. Some I recognized. Some I did not. All connected by something deeper than loss. Every decision you make now ripples through them, she said. No more distance. No more hiding. I felt the weight settle. Not crushing. Anchoring. I will carry it, I answered. A man stepped forward. Then another. Not with anger. Not with praise. With expectation. Real. Unfiltered. I moved toward them. Each step. A quiet promise. Then, Amina's voice stopped me again. There is one more truth. I turned. Something in her tone had changed. Not softer. Not harder. Deeper. What truth? She held my gaze. Long enough for doubt to return. But not control me. This was never just about changing you, she said. The words landed slowly. Unfolding. What do you mean? Her eyes did not leave mine. It was about what you were meant to build next. A silence grew between us, thick with something unknown. Not a company, she continued. Not wealth. My chest tightened. Then what? She stepped closer, close enough that I could feel the same presence that once steadied me in the rain. A system that cannot break people the way you once did. The scale of it hit me all at once. Not a redemption. A transformation. Beyond me. Beyond everything I knew. I do not know how to do that, I admitted. For the first time in a long time. Uncertain. She nodded. That is why this is only the beginning. Her hand lifted slightly. Not touching, but guiding. And as I looked past her, I saw something forming. Something vast. Unfinished. Waiting. It was not a building. Not yet. It was an idea. Alive in fragments. Workshops. Classrooms. Open spaces filled with voices. People teaching. People learning. People rebuilding each other. No titles. No hierarchy. Just dignity. Moving from one hand to another. This is what you saw before money, Amina said. I felt it. Not in my mind. In my chest. Raw. Undeniable. But this will take everything, I said. She nodded. And more. I stepped forward. Closer to what was forming. A woman spoke to a group. Her voice steady. Eyes bright with purpose. A young man repaired something broken. Carefully. Patiently. No rush. No fear. I recognized it. This was what I had taken away. Without even seeing it. A life that belonged to them. Not to profit. Not to power. I turned to Amina. Why me? The question had followed me. Quiet. Persistent. She did not answer immediately. Instead, she watched them. As if the answer lived there. Because you understand both worlds, she said. The one that breaks. And the one that heals. The truth settled. Heavy. Inescapable. You will be tested again, she continued. Not by loss, but by choice. A familiar tension returned. Not fear. Responsibility. What happens if I fail? I asked. Her eyes softened. You already know that answer. Images flashed. Closed gates. Silent rooms. Forgotten faces. I exhaled slowly. I will not fail them again. She stepped back, not away, but allowing space for me to step fully into it. Then begin, she said. Simple. But nothing about it was easy. I walked forward, into the center of it all. Voices quieted, not out of fear, out of attention. They were not waiting for orders. They were waiting for truth. I felt it rise. Not rehearsed, not calculated, real. I was the reason many of you suffered, I said. The words did not shake. They grounded me. I cannot erase that. Silence deepened. But I can stand with you and build something that ensures it never happens again. A pause, long enough to matter. Then, someone stepped closer, not to question, but to join. And in that moment, something shifted. Not in them, in me. But just as that shift settled, a man at the edge of the room spoke, his voice cutting through everything. You say that now, he said. But what happens when the world pushes back? The question hung, sharp, unavoidable, because I knew the world would push back, harder than ever before. And this time, it would not just test my strength, it would test my truth. The question stayed in the air, heavy, honest. What happens when the world pushes back? I looked at him, then at all of them, faces no longer distant, but connected to me. I will not stand alone, I said, and I will not stand above you. The words felt different, because this time, they were not a promise. They were a choice already made. Days turned into resistance. Powerful voices rose against us. Investors withdrew. Pressure mounted. Systems resisted change. Everything I once relied on began to fall away. Again. But this time, I did not feel empty. I felt clear. We built anyway. Slow. Difficult. Real. The factory became more than work. It became ownership. Shared. Earned. Respected. Decisions were no longer mine alone. They belonged to those who lived with them. And something remarkable happened. Profit returned. But not at the cost of people. With them, Amina stood beside me. Never ahead. Never behind. Always where truth needed her. You see it now, she said one evening. The sunset cast gold across the open gates. No guards. No fear. Just life moving freely. I do, I answered. Success was never the goal. She smiled softly. Then what is? I watched the workers leaving. Laughing. Tired. But whole. Building a life where no one has to lose themselves to survive. Silence followed. Peaceful. Earned. The man who once questioned me stood nearby. He nodded. Not in approval. In belief. And in that moment, I understood everything. Wealth can build walls. Or it can build doors. Power can silence. Or it can uplift. But only truth, only humility, only shared dignity can build something that lasts. I was once a billionaire. Now, I am something greater. A man who finally knows that real success is not what you take from the world, but what you restore to it.